Marshall.
Okay. Miss Maniko, can you please lead the prayer? Okay. So, before you take your seats, I want you to arrange your chairs. Fix yourselves and pick up pieces of paper under your chair. So, I will check your attendance first. Alar,
Present, ma'am.
Maniko. Okay, no one absent today. So, class, do you want an energizer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may now take your, you may now stand. So, do you familiar with the songs of Alegre Kita Aki, Alegre Kita Alia? Do you familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll do the first step. Then after that, okay, so Alegre Kita Aki, Alegre Kita Alia, Maskin Ode Alegre Kita. Alegre kita aquí, alegre kita allá, maskin donde alegre kita. Baila, baila, el mundo meña, ojera, move un poco, después mira. Meña, hermano, la baila cadera, meña un poco, después mira. Okay, class, do you enjoy our energizer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may now take your seat.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, before that, what was our lesson last week? Yes, Miss Alar.
Okay, so last meeting we discussed about the role of CBT.
Okay, the role of CBT. So, what is the differences between CBT trainee and CBT trainer? Yes, Miss Alar.
Okay, so this CBT training is the experience where the trainees will experience the work days, and of course they will experience the different tasks or the specific tasks given by the trainer. While the trainees, these are the students or the learners that will conduct the experience in the so-called CBT.
Okay, thank you. So, now, this is your prize. So, before I start my discussions, I have an activity to you guys. Do you want an activity?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, I have a house here. And I will choose 3 students to pick a door. Then after you pick a door, inside the door have an envelope. So inside of that envelope has a scrambled letter that you need to arrange. Okay, Miss Maniko, can you please pick a door? Okay, come in front and open the door. And pick the envelope. Okay. Yes, Miss Alar, can you please pick a door? Okay, thank you. So, inside of that envelope has a scrambled letter. So, can you please arrange this scrambled letter and say it to me? Okay, thank you. So, for your class, in the scrambled letter that you arrange, what is feedback? Yes, Miss Maniko, what is feedback?
Feedback is like example pag natapos na ng teacher example ba, natapos na yung student na nagawa ng activity, doon na magbibigay ang teacher ng feedback. Pero dapat yung feedback, yung positive, hindi negative.
Okay, thank you, Miss Maniko. Here's your prize. So, in the scramble letter that you arranged, Miss Alar, what is strategies?
Okay, ma'am. So, strategies, these are the process where they trainers or the trainees use to gather experience, or the trainers will use these strategies to determine the prior knowledge of the trainees or the students.
Okay, very good. So before I start our discussions, I will show you first our classroom rules. So yes, Miss Maniko, can you please read our classroom rules?
Classroom rules. Keep the classroom clean. Listen to the teacher. Raise your hand if you want to answer. Keep quiet and follow instructions.
Okay, thank you, Miss Maniko. So now let's proceed to our discussion. So in that activity that we learned earlier, what was our topic for today?
Okay, so based on the activity given or presented, I think the lesson for today is all about the feedback mechanism.
Okay, exactly, Miss Alar. Thank you for your answer. So, our topic for today is all about feedback mechanism. So, before that, I will show you our objectives. So, okay. Yes, Miss Alar, can you please read our objectives?
Objectives. At the end of this lesson, students expected to A. Define the feedback mechanism. B. Value the principles in giving effective feedback. C. Perform the importance of the feedback strategies by singing.
Okay, thank you, Miss Alar. So now let's proceed to our topic for today. Is all about feedback mechanism. So feedback mechanism is a dialogue between people who reflects back how another person sees someone else's behavior or performance. So this feedback mechanism is a system that collects or exchanges about the performance or the informations about performance or actions. So in that informations, students or learners motivate and change their behaviors, their performance, or this information is the students or learners improvement to change their behaviors, their performance, and also their decisions. So in this feedback has two types. So what are they? Yes, Miss Alar. What are the two types of feedback?
I think the two types of feedback, it is the positive feedback and the negative feedback.
So, the two types of feedback mechanism is the positive feedback and negative feedback. So first, we discuss the positive feedback. Okay, Miss Maniko, can you please read what is positive feedback?
Positive feedback serves to change behavior that is inappropriate and ineffective.
So, pag sinabi natin positive feedback, it is the end of the report that we need the teachers give a feedback to our students. So, we need to give a feedback to our students in positive ways. So, like for example, Miss Alar done reporting here in front. So that's the time the teachers or the learners or the students give positive feedback of Alar. So like for example, good job. Your reporting is good. You are mastering your report or your topic. So that's the positive feedback. So also in positive feedbacks has gave the feedback receiver, the feedback giver, and the feedback receiver has a good relationship. Because of that positive feedbacks, the student has gained self-confidence or the self-esteem to motivated students to participate in our class. So that's the positive feedback. So now let's proceed to the negative feedback. Okay, Miss Alar, can you please read the negative feedback?
Negative feedback. Self-resistive behavior that is inappropriate and effective.
So, here in that negative feedback is not good to give to the students feedback. Because what? That negative feedback has a possibility to less the self-confidence of the learners or the learners. So, instead of using negative feedback, we use the improvement. Why we need to use the word improvement? Yes, Miss Alar.
Okay, so instead of using negative feedback, some of the teachers or the trainers will give improvement or the progress of the student, where they going to motivate the students and they willing to engage when it comes in performance, or they will giving a specific task. So after that, there is negative, but they going to give some improvement so that the students or learners will be improved.
Okay, very good. So when we say negative, when we say improvement, it is the other term of negative. So we use the word improvement para hindi mapahiya yung student natin or yung trainees natin. Syempre, in that improvement, that learners or that trainees has possibility change their actions, their behaviors, and also their decisions. So, after ng pagbibigay ng improvement natin, so, if in another or in some next time, so that learners will gain or will motivate after the teacher give the improvement. So, okay. So, now, let's proceed to the principles in giving effective feedback. So, now, let's proceed to the principles in giving effective feedback. So, here in principles in giving effective feedback, we have 5. First, we have focus on the positive. Second, we have give feedback as soon after the event as possible. Third, we have the feedback needs to be part of the overall communication process. Fourth, we have give feedbacks only when asked to do so or when your offer is accepted. And lastly, we have focus on the behaviors that can be on change, not personality traits. So, in that focus on the positive, what do you have any idea of that? Focus on the positive in giving effective feedback? Yes, Miss Maniko?
Before the teacher give a positive feedback, para yung student niya is magain niya yung confidence niya, at dapat doon lang nakafocus yung teacher para hindi hindi mahiya yung student niya.
Okay, thank you. For that focus on the positive feedback, it is to motivated students and also gain the self-confidence and also to boost their self-esteem. So, let's proceed to the give feedback as soon after the event as possible. So, when we say give feedback as soon after the event is possible, so, syempre, pagtapos natin mag-report or may ginawa tayong activity, syempre, dapat yung isang teacher is magbibigay ng feedback para yung estudyante is maging motivated, magiging masaya sa outcome ng kanyang ginagawa. Okay, so now let's proceed to the feedback needs to be part of the overall communication process. So, yes, Miss Alar, do you have any idea of that?
Okay, so feedback needs to be part of the overall communication process. So exactly, so this feedback needs to be connected in the communication process. So when the learners or the students will will gain all the topic or the specific task. So after that, the teacher will connect the feedback to the specific topic or the specific task given by them.
Okay, very good, Miss Alar. So it says that we need to give feedback that relates on the topic. So syempre, hindi tayo magbibigay basta-basta ng feedback na hindi naman relate sa topic ng isang estudyante. And also, if we give an feedback, hindi personality. Hindi personal yung pagbibigay ng feedback natin to the learners. Syempre, magbibigay tayo ng feedback about sa report na ginawa niya or the activity. So now, let's proceed to the gives feedback only when asked to do so or when your offer is accepted. So like for example of that, in class of Miss Ellen. So di ba, nagbibigay muna siya ng kompromiso bago tayo magbibigay ng feedback, di ba? Mag-a-assess siya sa atin, okay, so class, who wants to give a feedback of Miss Alar? So that's the time that we need to give the positive feedback. So in that feedback is always positive or improvement, not use the word negative. So okay. So lastly is the focus on behaviors that can be changed, not personality. So, ito na yung sinasabi natin na magbibigay tayo ng feedback regarding sa students, regarding sa ginawa ng students or in the outcomes of that students. Hindi tayo magbibigay ng feedback through his or her personality or on his background. So, syempre, kung magbibigay tayo ng feedback magbibigay tayo ng feedback sa isang estudyante about her or his background, syempre mapapahiya yung isang estudyante or maliles yung boost or maliles yung self-confidence ng isang estudyante kasi nga napahiya siya doon sa feedback na binigay ng students na galing doon sa background niya. Okay? Do you understand
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is principles in giving effective feedback?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you alive?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So now let's proceed to the feedback strategies. Okay, class, so now let's proceed to the feedback strategies. So here in feedback strategies, we have 8. So first, we have the timing. So, okay, Miss Alar, can you please read what is timing and give an perspective of that?
Okay, so the number one feedback strategies is timing. So what is timing? For student to get feedback while there is still time for them to act on it. So the teachers or the trainers will give feedback, or it should be timing. So while the learners or the students will run on that activity or specific task, so that's the time the teacher will enter to give some feedback for them to progress and be motivated.
Okay, thank you, Miss Alar. So, when we say timing, so di ba, like for example, kumakain tayo, di ba, kakain muna tayo bago tayo magsasalita. So, magta-timing tayo if yung pagkain natin is dunok na natin. So, that's the time na pwede na tayo magsalita. So, in that timing, in feedback is, like for example, hayaan muna natin yung estudyante na tapusin yung isang report niya bago tayo magbibigay ng feedback. So, that is timing. So, next, we have the amount. So, amount for students to get feedback on teachable moment points, not an overwhelming numbers. So, when we give feedback to our learners or to our trainees, that feedback is impactful. So, parang magbibigay tayo ng feedback sa ating learners or sa ating trainees is parang mag-i-impact siya sa learners or trainees. Syempre, kung pag na-impact syempre, magiging masaya yung estudyante sa binigay nating feedback sa kanya. So that's the amount. So now, let's proceed to the mode.
May pa.
So mode. To communicate the feedback message is the most appropriate way. So, yes, Miss Maniko, do you have any idea of that mode?
So dito, pag example, nagbigay yung naghingi yung isang tao ng feedback, dapat yung dapat positive lang, hindi siya magbibigay ng negative kasi pag nagbigay siya ng negative, mag-iiba yung mode ng isang tao.
Okay, thank you. So when we say mode, like for example, na magbibigay tayo ng feedback sa ating estudyante or sa ating trainees, is dapat clear, dapat meaningful, dapat impactful, and also to give motivated students for the another work or activity. Now let's proceed to the audience. So yes, Miss Alar, can you please read what is audience?
Audience to reach the appropriate student with a specific feedback.
So, what do you have understand of that?
So in every
Audience.
okay, so in every experience or what we call this experience in the so-called workplace or area, there will be an audience that witness your performance in that area. So it should be the teachers or the trainers will give you an feedback in appropriate way so that the student will motivate, and they will boost their self-confidence in this specific area or task.
Okay, very good. So when we say audience, syempre, for example, I'm the teacher. So I give a right to the audience to give feedback of the learners or students. So, syempre, pag magbibigay yung audience ng feedback to the learners or to the trainees is always positive and always in an appropriate way. Okay? So now, let's proceed to the comparison. Okay. Comparison. Usually to compare student works with established criteria. So, in that comparisons is bibigay tayo ng feedback through criteria. Syempre, in that criteria, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, syempre, in that feedback, we need always give a feedback in positive way. So, syempre, para magiging motivated yung isang students and also to gain their self-confidence or his or her self-esteem. So, let's proceed to the function. So, okay, Miss Maniko, can you please read the function?
Function to avoid evaluating or judging student work.
So, do you have any idea of that?
Dito is gina-avoid ng mga teacher na i-judge yung performance ng student para yung confidence ng student hindi na
Okay, thank you, Miss Maniko. So, in functions to avoid evaluating or judging students' work. So, syempre, always give a positive feedback para hindi ma-judge yung learners or trainees natin. And also, in these functions is always use a way of giving a positive feedback. Syempre, para hindi mapapahiya yung students or yung trainees natin sa mga kaklase nila. So, in that functions, evaluating students, if that students or trainees gain a knowledge, gain, be motivated, and also, so in that functions also give evaluating students. So when we say evaluating students, that do natin matetest yung isang student if that report is tumpak siya doon sa learning objectives niya. So syempre magbibigay tayo ng feedback to the students is always in a positive way. So syempre in that positive way, hindi mapapahiya yung students natin or yung trainees natin. So now, let's proceed to the balance. So, okay, Miss Alar, can you please read what is balance?
So balance, yun yun, there's a balance. So balance, to describe the specific qualities of the word in recitation to the learning target. So I think this balance is a kind of strategies where the teacher will give a so-called recitation if they really understand a specific lesson or the specific task given by them.
So, syempre, in that balance, yun na nga yung sinasabi natin na pagbibigay ng positive feedback. Syempre, doon malalaman yung isang estudyante if success siya sa ginawa niya. So, that's the balance. So, now let's proceed to the focus. The last one, focus. Okay, Miss Maniko, can you please read what is focus?
Focus, to use positive comments that describe what is well done.
Okay, in that focus, understandable naman siya, di ba? So, when we say positive comments is also a positive feedback. So, syempre, pabalik-balik na natin sinasabi, use the positive feedback to gain or to boost self-confidence, to boost self-esteem, and also
To be
motivated. That's the focus. So, okay, we are now done. Tackled about the feedback strategy. Do you familiar with the song? Saging, saging, mangga, mangga, papaya, papaya, paghaluhaluin, paghalu-haluin, fruit salad, fruit salad. Do you familiar of that?
Yes.
So now, let's sing using the feedback strategies. We change the lyrics into saging-saging to timing, amount, mode, audience, comparison, balance, and focus. So, I will do first, then you. Okay? So, timing, 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 amount, amount, mode, audience, comparison, function, balance, focus. Okay, you class, can you please sing the feedback strategies? Timing, 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 amount, amount, mode, audience, comparison, function, balance, focus. Okay, again. Timing, 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 amount, amount, mode, audience, comparison, function, balance, focus. Okay. Thank you, class. So now, give me the two types of feedback. Yes, Miss Alar, what are they?
Okay, so the two types of feedback which are the positive feedback and the negative feedback.
Okay, very good. So, Miss Maniko, can you give at least two in giving effective feedback? At least two only.
We have a focus on the positive. Give feedback as soon after the event as possible.
Okay, very good. So, class, can you please read the feedback strategies.
Timing, amount, mode, audience, comparison, function, balance, and focus.
Okay, very good. So now you are now ready for our quiz.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can you please get a 1/4 sheet of paper and write answer right away. So, okay. Are you finished, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you please pass the paper forward? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, thank you, class. So, okay, class, for your assignments, read information sheet for 1-2, page 35 to 36. Do you understand, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may now stand. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye, Ma'am Marshall.
Goodbye.